Alright, everyone out there in guitar land, Mike Henning here, coming to you today with a quick little bluegrass ending lick. This is going to be kind of like a Doc Watson or Billy Strings inspired lick. It's not too hard, it plays right out of the G chord position, it's really fun to play. I'll show you the lick and then I'll show you some variations on it so you can mix it up and make it your own. Alright, let's start breaking down this bluegrass ending lick lesson. Here we go. We'll start with the lick, here it goes. Do it again. You could also end it with a G run. Sound like this. Okay, so we're starting up on this third fret of the high E string. You can use either your pinky finger or your ring finger. I like using my ring finger just because it's a little bit stronger. But if you're in this shape, you can also just use your pinky right there. So we're going to play this little rhythm. Let me play it and then I'll explain it. So I'm going up on the high E string, third fret, and I'm going down, up, and then another up, and then another up on the open, high E, and then a down on the third fret on the second string. And the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's why I'm doing down, up, 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 down. Down, up, 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 down. That, if you want to follow the traditional flat picking rules of using down strokes on the down beats, up strokes on the up beats, that's the way I'd recommend picking it. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You could also use your pinky, like I said. Okay, and then we're going to go basically down the strings to the third string and play a very similar rhythm. Third fret on the third string. And then right here I'm going to use the second fret on the fourth string. And then open third string. You can also use the third fret if you want to make it a little bluesier, which makes the lick very symmetrical. Then it would be... That works too if you want to make it a little bluesier. I like ending with the second fret personally. It just makes it a little bit more major. So I'm using the same picking on the lower strings, right? Down, up, 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 down, up, up, down. And then I end with the third string, right? And then I could either go back to strumming or I could do my G run. Whatever G run variation you want to do, right? Okay, so that's the lick. So where would we use that? So we're going to use that on any little ending that has a G, D, G. Like that, right? So, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Or something like, well, I'm on my long journey home. Right? Or, how can I roll when the wheels won't go? Right? So a song like Sitting on Top of the World, Long Journey Home, 9-Pound Hammer. So anything where we have that. Listen how it fits in. So like it's Sitting on Top of the World, now she's gone, and I don't worry. Right here. Also will work just over a G chord if you just have a long section of G, right? So maybe you play like a little ending. So it can also work as an extended tag. So what's a tag? A tag is something you tack onto your solo, a little ending phrase that kind of extended out. It also can give the time for the vocalist to remember the next verse or give the break a little ending, right? So you can tack that onto an ending of a solo, right? So you could do something like... Something like that. You can even play it a couple times. Right? You could also use it in the middle of a solo. Maybe you're going from a G to a C. right? So something like that could work if you have a G up to a C, and then you'd have G right to a D there, so you could use it. Here comes C. So you can see you can use this lick is pretty versatile. Like I said, you can do it here. If you want like a more of a bluesy lick, use the 3rd fret. Maybe that'd be like the intro to a song. You could go. Just be a great intro to a song just to kind of create that initial excitement. Okay, so try it both ways. Try it with your pinky, like I said. Play around with the lick. Obviously, you got to figure out where it fits in, but what I recommend always is just what I call crowbarring the lick in everywhere. Just try it all over the place. It's not going to work every time, and then once you figure out where it works, you dial it back in. The other, a little bit more advanced way you can do is you can like, if I'm picking, I can kind of run up the notes. Like something like that, where I go. Something like that, right? So I'm kind of in my G chord. That's kind of a cool, like almost Tony Rice style chromatic way to get up to it. So I'm picking the low string, right? And then I'm hitting an upstroke open 2nd string. 1, 2, 3, open high E, 1, 2, and then the lick starts. So you'd have something like. You can hear how that kind of fits in. That's kind of a cool, that'd be a cool way to maybe get up to the lick. Lastly, one other way you can do this initial lick, if you don't want to do that alternating picking thing, which I would recommend, but one way you can also do it if you want to go like a little bit more, almost mimicking a Bill Monroe style mandolin. So Bill Monroe would use successive downstrokes in a row. It has a very crisp attack, almost like again, kind of inspired like a Chuck Berry kind of rock and roll guitar style, right? So that's another way you could also do that lick. I probably wouldn't do it at a faster speed, but at a slower speed, I'll do the whole lick with just downstrokes. Just adds a little bit more of an attack. You could also play around with where you're playing on the bridge. You could play it way maybe back toward the saddle a little bit more. That's obviously going to be personal preference, but kind of experiment. That's your tone, right? You can change your tone, right? We don't have tone knobs on an acoustic guitar, but this is our tone knob essentially, right? All right, so that's the lick. Again, try it, create some variations. You can change up the rhythm if you want. You can change up the notes slightly, but kind of stick with that basic framework of repeating that rhythm over 2 different sounds, right? So what we're doing theory-wise too is we're playing basically like a major pentatonic, and then right here we're doing the flat 3rd, right? Right, that B flat, right? It's not in our G major scale, right? So that B flat sliding into that 3rd, right? But playing that minor 3rd creates a lot of tension. That was kind of the trademark of that lick. So you have the first part that sounds very major, and then the second part has more tension. One more way you could play the first part is if you don't want to use the open, you can do it more with this 1st fret. You'd have this. Something like that, right? And then that'd be like a more bluesy way. Or you could start the lick and then play like a different ending. Right? So that's where you can, you don't have to play the whole lick. You can just take maybe the first part of it or the second part, right? You can expand upon it, make it your own. That's what's really going to solidify that you know the lick. And that's why I recommend creating little variations on these licks. even if the variations you create at first you're not that happy with or proud of, that's part of the process is coming up with your own little idea, making the lick your own. Those are the things that's really going to stick in your memory, not memorizing some tab, right? You want to use the tab and the lick as a jumping off point to eventually create your own idea. That's the goal. All right, practice that, throw it in at your next jam and see if you get a cool look from one of your friends. All right, hopefully that helps you out. Good luck and keep picking.